Hello, and welcome to the second Joyous MiniShip tournament series. This time we've got 7 competitors, which is what I kind of wanted last time, except we got 17 last time, which took 7 hours to record, so hopefully this time it will be shorter. So we've got Extirp, Owl Feathers, YenYu, Skill, Debris, Lyolf, and Jimmy Jam. So let's begin. First up, we've got Extirp's Republic's Fighter and Bomber demonstration versus Terran Blob ships by Owl Feathers. So this is Extirp's fleet. It's Farmer. Extirp is our local Frenchman. He's a tournament veteran. He makes some pretty good ships, except when he submits his campaign saves when he's lazy, like he did here. But overall, this is a pretty solid fleet. We've got a Bolshevik fighter here. It is more heavily armored using the Farmer armor blocks, so it can take a few hits, but just not as much as armor spam submissions. And we have these MM1 kiters here and here. He's also using Sparrow missiles, which is a strange choice, but we'll see. And he has multiple variations of this Avengers fighter, with Avengers here, there, everywhere. But overall, this is a pretty good looking Farmer fleet. And we'll see how it does against Owl. With Owl, we've got his Terran Blob ship. Owl is the host of Consortium Fleet Trials tournament series. He's renowned for making very aesthetically pleasing ships, except when he's lazy. And so he's just submitted standard tournament fare here. We've got a protein sword, defense cannons, plasma cannons, and missiles. A couple of armor spam and asteroid thruster spam. So this is very fast, very tanky. It is a very solid choice. Extirp is just being knocked around by both the mass difference, the firepower difference, the speed difference, and just the huge amount of health that Owl Feather has. It is not looking good for him at all. He still has 1 kiter left, but he was knocked out by Owl's missiles. Again, these short-range protein swords at the front of Owl ships are just brutal at taking out small ships such as this. Extirp is having a lot of trouble penetrating through all that armor, and it does look like Owl has a bit of a butt ship problem, but he is in the lead, and Owl Feather wins the match. Next up, we got Wolfbird's SI-1 by YenYu. YenYu is another experienced tournament goer. He recently has made some pretty kick-ass reds, namely in Lap's Unified Armada and DRRT. For reds in this tournament, they get twice the fleet fee, twice the ship fee, and they're allowed to stack, because reds are usually very weak in tournaments. But these ships are quite fast. He's got these small tractors. All his ships have the red flex thruster, which is pretty P efficient. And then his larger ships have 5 Tempests, which can melt through most things. So we'll see how well they do against Farmers, which feature flash heavy weapons that the Reds don't like. Extirp's opponent seems to be much faster than him, and while YenYu does have a lot more firepower, he is weak to splash, which most farmers have. pure firepower seems to win the day. YenYu does seem to have a lot of defense, so most of these missiles are rendered obsolete. However, his Bolshevik can't be blocked, so it only takes a few hits to kill. But YenYu wins the match. Now we've got Devil's Legion by skill with 666 ships, quite a large number. He is using the Jellyfish faction, which have special rules. Their only limit is block count. Additionally, they're allowed to multi-faction with the Peaceful Plant and the Rock faction, the Asteroid faction, Faction 100, the one with all the rocks in it. Skill has had a lot of success building swarm fleets. He's won quite a few MLT tournaments using swarms, mainly by just surviving and having more P than his opponent at the end of a match. But the Jellyfish faction were nerfed in this tournament, so there isn't quite as much of a P advantage. So we'll see how well his swarm does against Extirp's lighter heavy fleet. So as long as Extirp just stays away from that death cloud, he should be able to win this by just slowly whittling down all the enemy. But he is getting pretty close here. One thing about these ships is because, oh wow, look at Extirp just going right in there. Fantastic. As I was saying, most of these ships, all of these ships, the gun is 1/3 of their mass, so the recoil helps bunch all these ships together if they're firing at the same thing. It looks like Extirp is not having a lot of luck against this death cloud. His Bolshevik ship charges in bravely, just trying to get multiple ships with those splash cannons. But he misses the main swarm. It's going for the stragglers. Extirp still has a few kiters, and as long as they stay out of the swarm, well, still one kiter, but with only 30 seconds left, I'm not sure if Extirp can kill enough ships to win the match. Additionally, Farmer Sparrow missiles have infamously low health, so just one shot of these tiny things were able to kill them. So maybe they're not the best choice of weapons, but again, if Extirp just stays out of the death cloud, he has a very high chance of winning by attrition. Unfortunately, most of Extirp's fleet comprises of Avenger rushers and the Bolshevik ships. It might be hard for him to fight. There goes the Bolshevik, but shredded because it got too close. Rest in pieces. The second Bolshevik going in, trying to kill as many as it can before it's inevitably eaten and killed with only space junk left. With 3 ships remaining, all of them kiters, Extirp has a good chance. These are not kiters. With 1 kiter remaining, again Sparrow missiles, very weak missiles, easy to shoot down. With skill having more than 2/3 of his fleet. 37 seconds remaining. Excerpt does survive that rush, but will he survive the next one? The ships do rebuild very quickly, but ultimately, I don't believe they can kill the swarm fast enough. Five seconds left. Maybe Excerpt has a nuke hidden somewhere. But Devil's Legion by skill wins 10 points. Next up we got Flash and McFarlane by Debris. Debris is the host of DRRT. He used to specialize in crystal brawlers in the NMSS tournament series, but since he has invented this fabulous technique known as blueprint hacking, he's using it here. So this is a Borg submission, multi-core Borg. So usually when a core is shot off from the main ship, it just replicates into a copy of the main ship. But with blueprint hacking, you can make the cores rebuild into anything you want. And the rule state, it can be pretty much anything using Borg parts that is under 1,500p. So with 5 cores here on each ship, 10 cores times 1,500 pretty much has an effective fleet P of 15,000. So Excerpt, he has to kill these 2 main ships before the secondary cores can spawn into their monsters. And we'll see that Debris has plenty of point defense to defend against the missiles. But here's one core. It rebuilds into the drone carrier. These Borg drones are very effective in numbers. They're fast, they're maneuverable, and against small ships such as these, they can build up to critical mass quite quickly. As you can see here, Excerpt doesn't have the point defense to deal with all these drones. Zapped into oblivion. Hopefully this time, Excerpt's Bolshevik tanks can chew through that armor and end the match. But already, blueprints are released. And with one of the carrier ships exposed, Excerpt has a chance here. There's a good chance, but the drone swarm is already built up. Too late. Oh, got it! Look at that. Very nice. But Debris wins the match. Just too many drones. Next up, Excerpt versus Lyolf and its ancient battleship. Lyolf has made full use of the jellyfish's potential, which is multi-faction with the asteroids. And since jellyfish don't have any acceleration requirements, he's pretty much built a fortress that has a lot of HP and will be very hard to kill. Each one of these jellyfish cannons is bound to point defense, so clouds of bullets will be flying off of this thing. But anyway, more about Lyolf. He's come onto the tournament scene relatively recently compared to some of the rest of these competitors, but he's been playing Reassembly for quite a while, so he knows what he's doing. He makes excellent use of like popping colors such as these target dummy commands, so ships usually look very cool. And as Excerpt charges in, the cannons go. I just think it's pretty satisfying the way some of the bullets fly, like the perfect line. It's beautiful. But Extirp is gonna have a very hard time penetrating through the asteroid armor, which I will try to balance next tournament. So this just immobile fortress, pretty much impenetrable, is going to be very tough to deal with. Extirp just doesn't have the firepower and farmer missiles to get through it. It does kind of seem like Lyolf's AI is a little broken, since not all of these guns are firing at the same time. Like, these guns should definitely be able to fire, but they're not. Not sure why. One cool thing about Lyolf's thing is because he's used the target dummy blocks, these core glow make a very nice red. Look at that. But again, Extirp charges in. I think these Bolsheviks have the best chance of surviving to do enough damage to break down these shields or these asteroids, but with the extreme amount of firepower coming off Lyolf, I think it'll be pretty tricky. Oh, still alive. You can do it. Tide is over here, chipping away at the asteroid. One last rush. Can he do it? At least break one. But no. Streams of firepower. Just too strong. Unfortunately, not looking good for Extirp here. I believe that'll go a similar way as it did last time. There's not enough firepower in these farmers. And just too much health in the asteroids. Other than that, Lyolf's battleship is beautiful to look at. And Lyolf wins. Our last competitor here, Jimmy Jam, Jimmy Lamb. Jimmy Jam, Jimmy Jam, Jammy. This is his first tournament he's ever submitted to, and hopefully not his last. Pretty recently he's gotten into trouble using these spiky plants and sending them through the wormhole. But in the tournament scene, these spiky plants are pretty brutal as well. His submission uses these spiky plant spines, which are melee, and they suck things into them, so anything gets into its firing arc, it's sucked in and just obliterated. Additionally, these spiky plant seeds pretty much replicate the ship every 2 or 3 seconds, so the arena gets filled up with just death lasers. So, as you can see here, already, he's quadrupled his fleet. Each of these also spawn. And hopefully these farmers have enough firepower to get through these spiky plants. As you can see, the melee on these spikes is pretty brutal, which is one way where Jimmy Jam's ship is just an engineering marvel, because it takes a while to regenerate these large heptagons. So the initial ship is just a spike that can cut through many things. Extirp is surviving. but already you can see he's outnumbered 100 to 1. Seems like Excerpt's on his last ship, and it is surrounded by spiky things. Jimmy Jam wins round 1. I think Excerpt has a chance with these new Bolsheviks. As you can see, they pretty much annihilate the spiky plant. And especially the small seedlings that come out would probably be one-shotted by these. I believe if Excerpt has just used a little more armor and maybe the farmer super thrusters that were allowed, he can definitely out-tank the spiky plants and destroy them. But melee wins. At least for now. Let's see. Got Excerpt here. These farmer missiles are excellent for killing small ones, but that's not what wins the match. He has to kill the big ones. And he's just chopped to pieces. Jimmy Jam beats Excerpt. Next up, Owl versus YenYu. Owl's ships are fast, armored, but YenYu's ships are fast and damaging. They can eat through that armor if they get a beat on it quite quickly. And YenYu's ships are much more agile than Owl Feather, so he can just stay out of range. Owl's missiles are not really a problem because of the sheer amount of point defense YenYu's ships have. And as long as YenYu doesn't lose any of his big ships, he can definitely win on points. If they can focus fire, he can definitely win on elimination. But it does seem like YenYu's ships have trouble getting a beat on and finishing off Owl's ships. If he gets too close, Owl's protein swords will just rip through the paper butter of the Reds. Seems like he's got one battleship immobilized. Fortunately, backup has arrived. Oh, just out of range. Or not. YenYu has double the points, and if he can survive for 20 more seconds, he can take the match. It does seem like YenYu has the healer drone, so if he gets away from the fight, he heals up instantly. And YenYu wins round 1. I think if Owl Feathers had more splash weaponry, he could definitely change the tides in his favor. But splash weaponry might not help if you can't hit your targets. YenYu ships are quite agile. But YenYu's not doing so great this time. He's lost one of his main capitals. And his second one has been brutalized. One thing I think both competitors could have done is use factories. If Owl had made his ships completely out of containers and put a factory in each one, he'd have quite a lot of ships. Factories and resources are allowed in this tournament, and using Alexander Witt's tournament mod, it makes factories very good because they spawn a lot. But it looks like YenYu's not quite winning this time. His last ship is surrounded, dodging things like Neo from the Matrix. Terran blob ships win round 2. Death stream right there. With the stacked armor that YenYu seems to have, you can take quite a few hits before dying. Owlfeather has lost 2 ships already. But YenYu has lost a significant portion of his fleet as well. Two capitals have one cornered and has gun it down with an extremely deadly tempest. Owl's last ship surrounded on all sides. YenYu ship's going in for the kill. But Owl escapes just in time. And YenYu wins that match. Next, versus Skill. I believe Owl won't have the same trouble as Exter because his ships do have enough armor to completely go through the swarm and just bully around these little squibs. As long as he doesn't stay still, these devils just can't get through all that armor because their recoil knocks them out of range. Although he does have the armor to just charge in, Owl's ships seem to be just hiding, which is kind of strange. They definitely have much more firepower than the Devil's Legion by Skill. But Skill is being systematically exterminated. You just can't do anything about it. He's out of range. Thirty ships remaining on Skill's side. Now 15. It's one chance. And in turn, blob ships win round 1. Again. It looks like, yep, again, they charge in. And they just plow right through them. Have a jolly good time. And when Skill's swarm is just scattered like this, they can't focus fire and take out Owl. They might have a chance on this one right here. They're close enough together, and Owl is immobile. He uses to shoot at. But their numbers have just been whittled down too much already. It's down to 100 ships. Down to 40. The main form right here. Some secondary outliers here. And then right here, slowly being exterminated by these long-range, very fast Terran missiles. Now, Owl versus Debris. If Owl can blitz these carriers fast enough before the secondary ships can spawn, I think he has a good chance of winning. He's got one of them already. And Debris is trying to escape. Already there are a lot of drones, and his secondary ships have plenty of lasers, plenty of armor too to chew through the layer of Terran armor, despite the disadvantage they have in terms of firepower. But it won't matter how many they can kill if the MiniShip is chased down and killed. But it does look like Debris has got away, and his swarm is slowly chewing through this armor. And the swarm targets the last ship. Eats through it like butter. Oh, lost one ship already, and Debris facing the wrong way. Can't escape. Very quick win by Terran for round 2. Again, Debris is surrounded. And Terran wins. Now against this huge asteroid cluster, I think that Lyolf definitely has a firepower and health advantage, but Owl definitely has the advantage of being able to run away. And these proton swords do a lot of damage, maybe even enough to get in and kill Lyolf. Something interesting I've seen is it seems like the AI for Reassembly has a max number of targets, because definitely all these guns can shoot on each of Owl's ships, but they don't. They focus on 2 or 3 at the same time. Additionally, they're being distracted by the missiles. If Owl can just get around to the backside, like he's doing now, he could definitely take this and assassinate Lyolf. Funny thing is, main core is not in the center right here. It's actually right here. Very, very interesting core placement. But Owl is slowly but surely making his way through. Owl's missiles are definitely confusing these point defense cannons. It's just not focusing. And Owl, with his butt ship problem, blob ships that just don't have enough firepower to get through with those missiles only. A stalemate. But since Lyolf does have much more points, I believe he will win this. With some miracle, Alpha can kill this last asteroid and one-shot his core right here. But no such luck. Lyolf wins. Now Jimmy Jam. These Terran ships definitely have a slight P advantage, and damage wise and health wise they have more health. But they will be swarmed very easily if they don't take care of Jimmy's spawners. 3 ships remaining. If Owlfeather doesn't get distracted by all these swarmers, he has a good chance of winning. But it looks like the melee is paying off. And it's just chewing through Owl right here. But he hasn't lost a ship yet. Oh, he has lost a ship. Owl definitely has a chance of just tanking all these spiky plants and slowly finding and killing Jimmy's main ships. With all these lasers and melee, it's definitely going to be tricky. Especially with how fast these distractors are going. Again, if Owl just had some flash, you could one-shot these little squibs. But Jimmy's down to 2 ships. Now 1 ship. If Owl can just find that, wherever it may be, I believe it's this one right here. If Owl can just take that out, he might be able to win. But actually, Owl has a point advantage. 2 seconds on the clock. We can't kill 4 ships. Another interesting about Jimmy's ship is these seed cores are temporary, so when they die, they just leave spiky waste, and it's just hazardous on the battlefield for both teams. So Jimmy could just be killed by his dead allies. Right now it's chaos as lasers go everywhere. Owl just tanks them and takes them out. But it does look like Jimmy got one of Owl's ships. But Jimmy's down to 300 points already. It's not looking good unless he can kill Terran blob ships. But Jimmy's down to 1 ship. It's not looking good for him. Right here, if Owl kills that, maybe a stray missile or a stray spike, Jimmy might kill himself. Well, Owl wins that. Now it's YenYu versus skill. Now YenYu's ships are extremely maneuverable, but the slightest breeze can knock him over. So if YenYu can just kite with these short-range weapons and stay out of the cloud, he has a very good chance of winning. And skills swarm, fires its guns and moves into unison, recoil shaping it into a deadly cloud of condensed firepower. But so far, YenYu has not lost any ships. And he definitely has a point advantage. All he needs to do is survive. And with all these squibs bundled up here, it just takes one stream of a tempest to take them all out. It does seem like YenYu ships are intimidated by massive amount of firepower that skill has. Uh-oh. Don't go in there. The flex thrusters are quite effective at getting you out of tight situations when you only have half a ship. But YenYu and his red phasers, easily capable of one-shotting squibs, and these devils don't stand a chance. YenYu's hit and run tactics worked the first time. Let's see if they'll work the second. Seems like there he goes. But right into the center of the swarm, not a good idea. YenYu lost the ship. Uh-oh. He has lost another one. Too deep in the swarm. The point gap is very close right now. YenYu can't lose any more ships. And his main ships are, again, very skittish about approaching this big swarm. Maybe because they have their healing drones and they feel like they can kite, but... the red phasers just kiting in and out and taking out 2 or 3 at a time. Extremely good strategy by YenYu. And YenYu takes that one. Now YenYu versus Debris. YenYu's reds are very good, killing things quickly, so they have a good chance of killing Debris before he can spawn into deadly things. Debris desperately trying to escape, just not fast enough. And Debris was blitzed. Didn't have time to spawn anything. Versus Lyolf. Reds do have a significantly high amount of damage, but they don't have the HP to tank through all the firepower. By waves of anti-aircraft fire. Do it. No, you can't. You can do it. Not sure one ship is going to be enough to penetrate through all this armor. Lyolf is just too tanky. Here we go again. YenYu's larger ships have a lot of firepower and definitely easily able to puncture through armor. However, just can't take enough hits to get to the center. It's very cool how the fire comes off the flak and plate movement. Just in line. Sheets of fire. Or P. Oh, very close to his core right there. Not enough. Lyolf wins on point. YenYu's red have very high risk of being swarmed and meleeed by Jimmy Jam's spiky plant. If he can blitz the 6 main ships fast enough, he might be able to do it. But he's just being raked by the spiky plant. Raked with spiky plant lasers. But again, all these dead ships are very hazardous for both sides, so Jimmy could be killing himself right here. Especially with the spiky plant laser that just pulled everything in. A deadly melee object or an enemy. And the points are very close if YenYu can just survive while Jimmy spikes himself to death. All he needs to do is kill one of his ships, and he can win this. Uh-oh, Jimmy. No bueno, Jenny. Jimmy. Jimmy's down in point. YenYu needs to survive 10 seconds in spiky plant hell. YenYu wins round 1. Uh-oh. Jimmy, you better run, Jimmy. Oof. He was just sliced ribbon by that melee. Jimmy is down on points by quite a bit. as you can kind of guess, MiniShips pretty much built to this stage before their decay, so it's just the battlefield is scattered with these little things, as well as deadly rows of spikes. Makes it pretty easy to identify which one of MiniShips YenYu needs to kill. Uh-oh, but YenYu's in trouble here. He's weakened in just one slice. Whoa. Not looking good. Not looking good at all. But he's beat back his attackers. And he needs to kill this right here. Let's see, this right here. What's the last one? I don't know. Shimmy. He's able to kill things, but he can also kill himself. And skill versus debris. Debris can just kite away. You can whittle down this swarm. Don't go charging into the swarm. No! Don't do that. See what happens when you go charging into the swarm? You die. That's right. But debris does have 3 multi-core things out. 2. 1 got eaten by the swarm. A little more now. And as drones spawn, you'll be able to take out these jellyfish faster. One of his full ships definitely has a deadly array of lasers. What? And there's that. Don't go into the swarm. Just don't. It's really easy not to. If debris can't kill all of Skill's swarm, he's gonna lose this. He is low on points. But it does seem like Debri's main ship has an AI trigger, so that when he's fully rebuilt, he charges in and releases more blueprints. Which may or may not be a good idea against a swarm, but the swarm is pretty spread out, not as deadly anymore. But he only has 25 seconds to kill half of it at least. Which with all these Borg drones, I do believe it's very possible. There we go. Almost killed all of them, but not quite. Let's see if it goes the same way. Again, debris charges in, and that's Skill's opportunity to kill him before he spawns anything. It's not good, because he's going to bounce back right back into it. Yikes. That's one of the debris chips gone. And the other one's right spank in the middle of the death cloud. It's not looking good for debris. But it seems like recoil. Oh. Not good. Looks like he's mostly saved. The recoil from these jellyfish guns have put him out of range. Now debris will kite, and hopefully his blueprint will cause havoc among the enemy. His drones seem to be very confused on which direction they should be going. That is kind of odd. There we go. But debris has to kill 2,000 worth of jellyfish in 10 seconds. I'm not sure if he's going to make it. And it looks like skill swarm tactics win this round. Debris goes in again. Releases some blueprints. Escapes. Let's hope it stays that way. But his thrusters are shot off. Looks like that ship's escaping. There's one right into the swarm. It's being protected by debris. And escapes. 500 worth of jellyfish. That's what you gotta do. That's 2,000 versus 2,000. It's a lot of things he needs to kill, but he got too close and was deleted. Now, jellyfish versus jellyfish. I have to do a thing so they actually move. Excuse me 1 second. There we go. That's the match. Beautiful. But since both of these factions don't have an acceleration requirement, they are not legally required to move, so they don't try to engage, and it is a little sad. What the? Another weird thing is, Lyolf's point defense doesn't seem to consider these jellyfish targets, and they just don't shoot at all. And with these jellyfish kind of stuck in the middle right here, it might be Skill's chance to win this. Let me just... Red. Oh, that worked for some reason. That is very odd. Huh. Okay. Oh, let's activate the carnival ride once more. Three, two, one. Got a blast. It does seem like Lyolf is shooting now. I'm not sure why he wasn't shooting before. That'll be one of life's greatest mysteries. But as you can see, he has significantly more firepower than Skill. Because a lot of Skill's P is invested in his little thrusters. Right here, that's pretty much 1/3 of the P cost. So he can't put as much guns in here. But I think that's going to be the rest of the battle right like that. Sorry for this. I will change the rule so this does not happen. Just sitting still. Alrighty. And Skill versus Jimmy Jam. Which swarm will win? Jimmy definitely has a lot more armor. But because Skill's fleet is just so massive, it pretty much activates an EMP on any seed spawning capabilities. Like it's reached the cap. You can't spawn anything more. That's just really I thought it was cool. Jimmy charges into the death cloud and is being killed. Without his swarm, he can't do anything. Just because of that pesky command cap. And have more than I don't know. I think it might even just be at 100. So Jimmy has to kill 300 ships to even start spawning ships. But he's being eaten by the death cloud and he's low on points. He only has 3 ships apparently. This one is dead. This one is inactive, trying to escape. His lasers are not firing because they cannot find back a target. Jimmy has that, but his melee spikes are he's just sucking them back into him and killing himself. Skill wins round 1. The EMP is pretty effective. It's the devil's curse. This cloud is just too strong. Jimmy with only 150 points. And his ship's mostly immobile. With one of them being this bike being chopped by himself. Spiky plants shenanigans. Where's his other ships? He's got 3. He's got 1 here, 1 there. And he's escaping. You can run, Jimmy. But can you win? 20 points on Jimmy. He needs to kill too many ships. And Devil's Legion by skill beats Jimmy. And Debris versus Lyolf. If Debris can spawn one of his blueprints, that might provide enough firepower to get through all his armor, because currently his drones are just suiciding on impact. Unfortunately, he's carrying away. I'm not sure it will change anything. Yeah. Guess you can just watch the light show. Let's kickstart this. Oh my goodness. What? Why can't I? Why? That works. There we go. So, now the debris has some blueprints. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's very cool to look at. But uh-oh. Just out of range. So now his blueprints go in and hopefully kill Lyolf. Unfortunately, it looks like they just don't have the firepower to get through the asteroid. Or the health to all this. Ooh, broke one. Look at that. Oh, 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 oh. Wow, look at that. It's a survivor. Truly magnificent. There we go. Why is he shooting at himself? That was odd. Okay. Interesting. What? What just died here? What? Alright. Anyway, Debris versus Jimmy. Which blueprint will win? Jimmy's getting pretty close to Debris here. Not looking too great for him. He's just gonna get sucked and thing that rhymes with sucked. Yikes. Eaten alive. Jimmy approaches again. Lasers at the ready. Look at that. It just sticks to him and deletes him. That is very cool. And now, Lyolf versus Jimmy. How will this work? Will the power of Spiky Plant finally defeat the ancient battleship? And we shall find out. Here we go. His lasers cutting through. But he's hurting himself on the rocks, as well as sucking in all the debris and chopping himself into pieces. It seems like there's a significant amount of time dot. Oh. I see. Yeah, there's time dilation. That is cool. It seems like Reassembly is taking a lot of CPU to do something. I'm not sure what it is, but it did. And Lyolf wins round 1. Jimmy just needs to sneak around the back and put his pointy thing in the back door right here. Sheet of fire come off. Jimmy, slowly but surely, working his way through. Uh-oh. He just sucked that spike right into him and chopped himself in half. So yeah, Jimmy has 8 points somehow. What is that? Oh. Oh! That is interesting. Wow. That is cool. I did not think that would happen. A battle on both sides, trying to dodge these spikes and dodge the bullet. Oh, run away, Jimmy. Find a place to root yourself. Don't do that, please. Don't. Oh, no! Ay, ay, ay. Seems that using spiky plant is much more hazardous than you would think. Oh, no. No. So the reason this is happening is because most ships will shoot at melee things because they are bad for you. But with spiky plant, it ends up just pulling the spikes closer, and that's just not healthy at all. But yeah, lots of time dilation. Probably because of these useless hopes. But back to the fight against Jimmy versus himself. Fantastic. Watch the light show for more than 10 seconds. And that's that. Lyolf wins. That was fascinating. Thank you all for submitting. Lyolf, first place. I will take a screenshot of that later. But yeah, thanks for submitting. The rules were a little whack. There's plenty of shenanigans, but yeah. Fun, fun, fun.